Yeah, and it's a process to get there. And like, I mean, you brought up how you were writing for others, and then I definitely wanted to talk about that because on top of your singing and you being the frontman, you've also had a long career of writing for others and big names, and Joe in particular, who I think is one of the most underrated R&B singers of like the 2000s for sure. And how was like that process writing for others compared to like writing for yourself, and like you said, like for all these big names and all the pressure that comes with it?
Well, by the time I got in, in the door, to even be able to write for other artists, that have careers and platforms, which I'm always grateful for. It's the same process for myself. I just put myself in their shoes. So, for instance, when I started writing for Joe, I'm like, this dude in his 40s, like, we can't be saying this stuff to these 40-year-old women that we were saying when he was in his 20s. Right? So I didn't ask them what he was writing about. I said, older women want to hear a different conversation. Everybody love your voice, but what are you saying with it? And so I wrote a song called I'd Rather Have a Love. I'd rather have a love than have a life alone. And, saying I was cool in these streets, cool in the club, but man, I wasn't thinking nothing about love. And these women went crazy for Joe. They were like, yeah, I want to love of my own too. They were like, yo, who is this guy writing these songs? It wasn't that they were just arranged better, whatever. He heard a conversation that his fans wanted to hear. So that was my thought process going into the creative side that says, let me sing to his fans, because they probably my fans too. And a 40-year-old woman that had been through beat up by life, don't want nobody coming to take her man. You know what I'm saying? I worked too hard for this man. I need him to pay some bills, right? And so it resonated, and I, 4 singles, Soul Train Award later, 13 songs in total over 2 or 3 years. It got me in the door because I was singing to his fans through my pen, but the process was still the same. Who you singing to, what you're singing about, and why. So that's the process. Even when I'm writing gospel music, I take the same approach. You know what I mean? I don't write hardcore hip hop because it's just things in those songs that I just don't aspire to. I'm cool with people. I don't knock it. I just don't participate in it because of my own values. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but it would be the same process when I work with rappers. It's the same thought process, right?
Yeah. Okay. And I guess, I mean, like we said, we have a lot of like songwriters, and we work with a lot of other songwriters. And I guess how would you, if somebody's looking to become like part of the industry, like how did you find breaking in? And what kind of stigmas or like dealing with, crediting and all this other stuff? Do you have any like opinions about any of that in the industry? Because there are a lot of negatives that can come with being part of that songwriting community sometimes.
I agree. And I went through a lot of that myself, where I didn't get the acknowledgement for my songs from artists who should have given me acknowledgement. And it's very painful. But it was a business decision as well. I said, what good is 100% of nothing? Give me 50% of something. It's business. It's more equitable to have a song out there with no credit and no praise than a great song on my computer that only me and my friends can hear. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I can't change the business from the outside. So I made some sacrifices, but it was my humility that got me in the door to where now I can kind of say, well, this is what it is, or don't call me. But I had to earn my way to this place through humility and serving and saying, you know what, you need a cut, fine. Just, you know what I'm saying? So I always tell people, let's say you've done all the work to be credible enough to get in the conversation, because some people got a lot of work to do. Work on your craft. But when you at that point where your music is good enough, humble yourself. Nobody owes you anything. Like I said at the beginning of this interview, your talent is not a prerequisite for success. There's so many other people that can do it better than you. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as the best. So humble yourself and allow somebody to show you favor. Allow somebody to walk you in that you looked out for or that you had an humble attitude about. You know what I mean? And so I always say, man, throw my resume away. I mean, I know it's great, but what can I do today to serve the world around me? And that gets me in a lot of places because I ain't acting all Hollywood. I ain't, I hate nothing against Hollywood because I like Hollywood. Because they call you Bama if you're slow, right? but that humility will open up more doors for you than your greatness alone, right? So that's what I encourage all participants in this industry, writers, singers, start there. You're not the best, right? Get it out your head no matter what your circle has told you. You are not the best. And people that can make decisions, they've seen the best, right? And they're like, whatever, what? Okay. So, you know, that's my advice. Humble yourself. And I know people don't like to hear that because this is an industry of ego. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? But you can be confident and be good at what you do. And people want to deal with you and say, yeah, I like him. Let me put him on this project, not because he's the best writer or best producer. I just like him. So that's my advice, man. Humility.
Yeah, I mean the creative industry for sure. Like I said, there's no like regulations, there's no overbearing like structure. So it is a lot about relationships, and I think that also gets lost on a lot of people when they first getting into the creative field. Is relationships are just as important as talent. So
it's more important.
Yeah,
it's more important. Y'all can tell I like analogies. I always say, build pipelines, not bottom lines, right? Because if you build a pipeline, everything can flow continually to you, opportunities, information. But if you're just about a transaction, that's it. It's over. So build pipelines, not bottom lines, because pipelines lead to bigger bottom lines. Come on.
There you go. There you go. Hey, just, just drop the gems today.